Well, hello again. Good morning. I hope you're well. Today we continue the series of interviews with the writers of the December 2023 edition of aviNews International Magazine. Today we are back with Dr. Edgar Oviedo. How are you, Dr. Edgar? Welcome again to aviNews International.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Very good. If you don't mind, I will introduce you quickly for those who don't know you yet. Okay, Dr. Edgar Oviedo is Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from University of Tolima in Colombia. He has a master's degree from the University Estadual de Maringa in Brazil. He also has a PhD from the University of Arkansas and an MBA from North Carolina State University. Dr. Oviedo is a member of the American College of Poultry Veterinarians. His expertise includes poultry nutrition, feeding, health management, among others. He currently works at Prestige Department Poultry Science in North Carolina State University. Doctor, it's a pleasure to have you here again. Thank you very much for your predisposition and for sharing your vision of the article with all our people. Well, I have read your article entitled, Why Should We Segregate Soybean Meals by Origin in Poultry Feed Formulations? And I would like to discuss with you some points about it. Okay, the first one. A logical and relatively easy way to reduce variability is to separate ingredients by origin, supplier, or quality. Could you explain this a little bit more for us?
Yes, David. The feedstock variability in nutrient content and quality is one of the most relevant aspects to reduce feed costs and improve feed quality. And also, it has a final impact on animal performance and company profitability. When feedstuff prices are highly volatile, and it is important to reduce this variability and improve precision nutrition. This means to reduce the margin of safety in the feed formulation and be more accurate with the nutrient contents and trying to meet better the nutrient specifications without excess. And the logical way to do this is to cluster the feedstuffs, to group them according to characteristics that are similar. You need to look for the more relevant factors that can make them similar. So then to create uniform products that will have less variability. And logically, that means to manage them also separately in the feed mills until the moment of batching. So then what is in the formula also is matching what you're going to put on the feed mix.
Okay, doctor, thank you for your answer. And what strategies do you propose to make feed formulation more accurate and minimize costs?
Well, the most logical strategy is to recognize the differences in nutrient composition among different ingredients and to categorize these feedstuff according to the quality and their origin. So who is the supplier, where they are coming from, because many of these are plant feedstuffs that will be mainly impacted by the plant growing. And this could help to mitigate the risk of producing feeds that doesn't meet the expected nutrient specifications.
Okay, thank you. I know that soybean meals is the most important source of amino acids in poultry diets worldwide. What can you tell us about it, about its price in poultry diets?
Yeah, well, the price of a soybean meal normally is determined by market conditions, supply and demand, but generally there is a trading rule that is limited to guaranteed a minimum crude protein content that each soybean meal producer should provide. Then the amino acid and energy value of those soybean meals are normally not taken into consideration. However, this is the most important aspect that we need to consider when we are formulating, because that will affect the cost of the diet. And consequently, the value of the soybean meal should be or should include what type of amino acids, what levels of amino acids, and their digestibility and energy value. Then in that way, we can also have a better valuation or better pricing of those soybean meals.
Okay, thank you. I know that some soybean meals are marketed worldwide, with the main producers being the USA, Brazil, Argentina, and India. However, these meals can vary due to numerous factors. Can you tell us about some of these factors?
Well, yes, the soybean meals are produced or coming from soybeans that are planted in the main producing countries, like the ones that you mentioned, especially Brazil, the United States, and Argentina are the leaders. And we also need to mention, for example, China, but due to the high consumption, then they are more an importer than a producer. But the difference is that when you have it in different regions of the world, the agronomic part, the agronomic factors, including even the sunlight, the luminosity that soybeans can have or receive during the growing period, will affect the concentrations of either protein or also especially sucrose that they will obtain, and that will affect both amino acid concentration and its digestibility, and also the energy value. So these factors make that those soybeans, depending on the country of origin, will be different.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. If we look at Latin American market, how Brazilian soybean meal differs from USA or Argentina soybean meal?
Yes, the Brazilian soybean meals that are normally planted in a subtropical area in Brazil, mainly on the Cerrado, and in Paraná, other states that are in the south of Brazil, they tend to have or collect more nitrogen, and consequently their crude protein and is higher, slightly higher than the US and also the Argentinian soybean meal. Generally, the Brazilian soybean meals could be a little higher on lysine and valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine, but they will be also lower in arginine compared to the US soybean meal, and then also the difference also is on the digestibility. The ones from the US and Argentina, located in two more seasonal regions, they tend to have a better digestibility of amino acids, and also they tend to concentrate more sucrose, and consequently the energy values are relatively higher.
Okay, great, thank you. In the article, you tell us about a tool that can minimize inter and intra-laboratory variability. What is that tool?
Well, the variability that we observe in nutrient content also depends on the analysis, and many times the web chemistry analysis can vary a lot among labs, and also uh, within a lab, due to the changes in the reagents and the intervention of people or equipment that change over time. However, when we use other tools like, for example, NIRS, or
Yes.
NRI, there is the near infrared spectroscopy. In that case, where that technology looks at the one calibration curve for every nutrient that normally was set up in one single place. And now the light and the spectra that is obtained in an NIR machine is able to read that the concentration of nutrients, and in that way, it's only one methodology that will be always used for all the samples. Normally, only one sample is required, like when you do, in contrast, when you have the wet chemistry, you will have multiple samples in the lab, or even you have to submit to different labs to obtain the same information. In this case, you have all the analysis done in one single system, and consequently, you can do the analysis quickly, and also all the information will come from one sample. That reduces a lot the variability.
Okay, thank you very much. It is true that soybean meal varies depending on the country of origin and the year of the harvest.
Yes, definitely all the research had shown that the harvest or the plantation year, or the conditions that happens during that time will affect the variability, and is one of the main factors to control. But especially the country of origin will be an important factor to check. We also confirmed that evaluating different databases of NRI that are used by different suppliers like Ebonic or Adisio, that through many samples that they have around the world, it can be observed that the country of origin will affect or will create different soybean meals.
Okay, doctor, thank you. The next question is regards to the costs of the soybean meal. Do the values of Argentina and Brazilian soybean meals vary much from those of the USA? Is there a big difference between the cost?
Yes, the nutrient contents, especially the energy, normally tend to be higher in the US soybean meals due to the higher sucrose values, a little lower energy, and a little lower fiber, but its digestibility also helps to increase probably between 100 and 110 kilocalories, the concentration of energy in the US soybean meal compared to Brazilian and Argentinian. And the difference in amino acids and digestibility sometimes look small, but they are significant. When you put them in a feed formulation, then all that makes sense, and then the final impact can be observed. And generally, having higher higher energy and combination of nutrients and digestibility makes that many times diets formulated with US soybean meal tend to be cheaper. And that is the bottom line. So then what you need to try to get is a diet that will be consistent in supplying the different nutrients, and that will make your diet cheaper.
Okay, so that's why the USA soybean meal is more expensive, I guess.
Well, I don't know if in the pricing that will at this moment is causing a difference, but definitely that is something that the nutritionists need to take into consideration when looking at price. It depends on the content. And again, country of origin is important. However, it's very important always to analyze every single ingredient, not only soybean meal, to know well the nutrient content, and the nutrient content really is what really should move us to a different price or pay more for different ingredients.
Okay, great. To conclude, you confirm that soybean meal should be segregated by origin, and that these small variations in nutrients and energy contents can significantly affect feed costs?
Yes, as we were discussing, David, definitely that is the main point of this article, to show that origin, really, and the nutrient content, whatever you get in those analyses, and the fastest way to observe all those variations and nutrient energy content is through the NIR. Then in this way, you can value really a feed staff and identify how you can reduce feed costs and reduce its variability.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Edgar, for your article and for this interview. Now it's much clearer to us why we should segregate soybean meals according to their origin in poultry feed formulation. I appreciate your predisposition for this interview, as well as for having written this article for this edition of the December 2023 magazine of aviNews International. This is the end of today's interview, and we will see each other in the next opportunity again. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, Doctor.
Thank you, David, and thanks to all the viewers of aviNews International.